Hi Flosstube, my name is Maggie and this is my new channel, Homemade on the Ridge. So why am I here? I love Flosstube. If you don't know what that is, it is a community of needleworkers here on YouTube who love to share their craft. And I have been watching for so many years and have gotten to know a lot of them one-sided. A lot of them are just one-sided because I didn't have a channel of my own. I just watched. And so a few of you have reached out and encouraged me so much to do this, even though I am not really comfortable in front of a camera. I decided to give it a go. So today I'm going to share a little bit about me, and then I thought I would focus on Halloween themed finishes that I've done in the past, things I'm working on, and plans that I have upcoming, stitching related. And then I have a couple of things that I'll share with you that are just other like crafty things that you may appreciate seeing, since this is a creative space. So just a little bit about me before I get started. You may know me from Instagram. So I'm over there, I'm Home on the Ridge, which is home.on.the.ridge. I started that channel 7 or 8 years ago when my husband and I purchased 5 acres of land here in Northwest Arkansas and decided to build a custom home. And I wanted a space or a place where I could document that process from start to finish. And so that's how I got started over there. It has kind of morphed into just a creative outlet for me. I love to post things I'm working on, decorating, in just various crafts. My husband is a crafter, he's a woodworker, he's made a lot of tables and things for people, and I showcase that in stories as well. And then my boys are pretty crafty too, and you've probably seen those things that I've shared of them over the years. But yeah, it's just a creative outlet for me. And so I'm looking forward to this journey over here on YouTube, just getting to know you guys a lot better and allowing you to get to know me primarily. And yeah, so that's a little bit about me. I'm standing here in my office / craft room. I work from home full time over in the corner here at that corner desk, and I'm standing at my project table. So if you see me looking down, I have a lot of things just kind of laid out, some notes here that I'll be referencing, and yeah, I think that's it. So I'll just dive right in. I thought I would focus on Halloween things today. If I haven't already said that, I've recorded this a few times already, and I don't know if I've said that or not. But I'm going to focus on Halloween related stitchy things today, and I'll show you a couple of other things that are not stitchy related that I think you might enjoy, and show some works in progress that are Halloween related, as well as a couple of plans that I have one's fall and one's Halloween that I plan on starting here shortly. So with that, I'll get right into things. Around the pandemic, it was probably early 2021, late 2020 or early 2021. This is kind of what got me back into stitching. So just to give you a little backstory, I cross-stitched a lot when my oldest was a baby, and I made a lot of ornaments and things for our tree because we didn't have a lot of money back then, and we didn't have a lot of things, and so I made a lot of things, and for the tree, for baby ornaments for him, and things that I could give to him when he got older, but then also just things for us to keep. And so yeah, I got started with making ornaments, and I also did a lot of projects on plastic canvas, which I'll show some of those in upcoming videos as we get into Christmas. But I kind of got out of it. I don't know why. I guess just life. Just being busy. But with the pandemic, everything kind of slowed down, and I was looking for something to do, and I love to work with my hands and things. So I decided to pick it back up. And I started with, I saw a magazine, the Just Cross Stitch magazine, out in, I think, Barnes & Noble one day, and this was in it. This is not the actual pattern that I used to stitch it. It was in the magazine. But this is Autumn Lane Stitchery called Current Mood. And this is the project that I got started back on. So I stitch it on the, I used all the called for threads and also the fabric. And I finished it in this black frame here with the museum glass from Hobby Lobby. And I just love the way it turned out. Hopefully you can see that okay. But it was a fun one. It was, let's see, what can I say about this? I love jack-o'-lanterns and Halloween, like I said, so, and purple is my favorite color. So that's why I think this one kind of caught my eye. But yeah, I really love how it turned out. I really like how it turned out. And I like cats too, so. We don't have a cat, we have a dog, and her name is Annie. She's actually asleep at my feet right now. And the rest of them I'll show you. I won't show them in any particular order because that was too much. I tried to be as organized as possible here, but I'm not that organized apparently. The next one I show you that I finished is this one by Teresa Kogut. It is called Moon Dance. And this one caught my eye because the picture of the pattern is like the fabric. It's not the stitching. So the orange and the yellow, the background of this one is all the stitching. So this was a lot. This was as full coverage as I'll probably ever get again because it took a long time, but I really enjoyed it and I love the way it turned out. I also had this one framed in museum glass in a frame at Hobby Lobby. Hopefully you can see that. And I like to display it at Halloween. It was another fun one. I was glad to finish that. It doesn't look like a lot, but there's a lot of like color change just to kind of show that sun rays. You can kind of see it there. But yeah, that was a fun one. So then the next one that I'll show, let's see, this one here. This one is The Boys Are Back in Town by Just Another Button Company. And I stitched this one on, what did I stitch this one on? It was like a chalkboard Ada. It looks like a 16 count maybe, but I'm not sure. And I had this one finished at Hobby Lobby as well, and I absolutely love how this turned out. The buttons are so cute, and I love that purple. This one had a lot of like stitching that wasn't cross stitch. So like the spider web, and then just like long stitches in the mummy. But it's so cute. I love to display it at Halloween. So that one I finished. That was actually a Super Bowl start in February of 23, and I finished it in April of 23. Let's see, the next one that I will show you is this one. So I actually started something else on this green fabric here. This is Picture This Plus 18 count Pickled. It's called Pickled, and I got it at Shepherd's Needle in Little Rock. But I just love it. It's so pretty. And I started something on it that was pretty much full coverage, and I'll show you that here in a second. And it was just too much. It was too small, and I couldn't deal with it. But I decided to start it on something else, and I'll show you that in a second. But I loved this so much, and I was like, man, this is kind of giving Beetle Juice vibes. So I decided to kind of go out there in search of like something that I could do that was Beetle Juice related, because the sequel's coming out and I'm really excited about that. So I found this pattern. It's actually free on Brianna Lentz's website. You can go out there and find it, and she also has a YouTube. But I finished it in a white frame that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I painted the black stripes on it. So I just love how it turned out. If you're on Instagram, you can find a reel that I made on this, on the process of how I made it. But yeah, the pattern is free. You just have to go out and on Brianna Lentz's blog or website and find it. Really, really quick stitch and really cute finish, I think anyway. So the next thing I'll show you, I don't have a picture of it, but it was called the Universal Monster Sal by Witchy Stitcher, and it's over here. I'll get it really quickly. So this one, if you're familiar with this at all, it was like a house with a cutout of rooms and of the Universal monsters. And so I stitched all the rooms, and then it took me 2 summers to stitch those rooms. Probably because I squirrel off onto other things, and I don't just like stick with one thing at a time. But it took me 2 summers to get to finish all the interior rooms. And when it was time to start stitching the outside of the house, I just couldn't do it. So I was like trying to think of a way to fully finish it in a creative way that didn't involve stitching the outside of the house. And this is what I came up with. So I went to Lowe's and got some plywood, just some thin plywood. And I framed this in just a regular 8x10 frame. Sorry for the glare. And then I put it down onto the plywood, and I just drew the outline of a house, a haunted house. And let's see, I made the cutout so that I glued this inside, the framed piece actually inside in a black, it was just a black flat frame that I glued it to. And these things here is actually fencing that I got from Hobby Lobby, like in the dollhouse section. And I cut them down and glued a dowel rod here on the end to kind of make it look like the railing. And then I was like, man, it needs something else. So I found some dollhouse windows from Hobby Lobby also, and just put some yellow foam, the felt sheets, but kind of like the foam sheets behind to make it look like lights. And then kind of like a last minute thing, I thought Igor needs to be up at the top. So I stitched Igor. That was part of the pattern. If you're familiar with the Witchy Stitcher's Universal Sal, she actually gives you the option of what to stitch. Like, she shows you these rooms, but you can change them out. So like this Wolfman room here is a different pattern that I actually found on her Facebook group from another stitcher. And I stitched that instead of the one that's on the actual pattern. And then this one is too, sorry, I'm like hitting my light as I'm showing you this. This one is Jekyll and Hyde. And I added that to the corner there. But yeah, so I found a pattern with Igor. I think that was part of her original pattern. And I was like, he needs to be in the bell tower. So I used one of those same windows, dollhouse windows from Hobby Lobby, and I stitched it. And let's see if I can show you, where these panes were in the window, I just placed my stitching. I moved the stitching around so that you could see everything. But yeah, I really like how this turned out. It's so cute. I hope you can see it. So yeah, this is new. I finished this summer. There's also a process reel out on Instagram if you want to look at closer on how I made it. But yeah, this was a fun one and unique to, something different than just stitching. So the next thing that I will show, let's see. I have a couple of things that I will show that are not stitching related, but still Halloween related and crafty related. So My family and I created a jack-o'-lantern arch in, I think this was last summer or the summer before, probably the summer before. But this is, what I'm about to show you is a insert from a scrapbooking page. Here's all my albums here that I may have said earlier that I like to do memory keeping. And so these are December daily. So every December I do an album, you know, for that year. And then these are the ones that are fall and Halloween related. So this came out of the 23 book, but we made this jack-o'-lantern arch, and it is huge. It fits over, I don't even know how many feet high that is. I can stand under it and lift my arms straight up and not even touch the top. But every face is hand carved, and it has lights in it, and it lights up at night. We got the Mickey and Minnie ghosts from Lowe's last year, and I made the swags that are hanging on our doors. So that's fun. Again, that's on Instagram too in more detail if you want to know. And then another thing that I have here that I'll show, I also made these. So these are made from plywood, and they are just little Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown characters. And we did the trick-or-treat scene. So I drew all of those, and then the guys helped me paint or cut them out and paint them, and we display them in our yard. And then we also have the scene from the pumpkin patch, which is really fun. But I show you this to say we just finished another one to add this year. So I'll show you that, and it's really, really big to try to show on camera, but I'll do my best. So this is the bobbing for apple scene. So can you see that? So yeah, I drew it on a piece of plywood, and then we cut it out, and then I painted it. It's not sealed yet, so I have to do that. But yeah, I'm excited to have this out there in the front yard for Halloween to join the others this year. Let me see if I can give you a better look here. You can see it. I love Peanuts. It's so nostalgic for me. That I remember watching Peanuts as a young kid. So yeah, I love it. So yeah, I thought you'd kind of like to see that too. Just some other things that are crafty but not necessarily stitching related. So then there's one more thing that I'll show you. I think I showed you everything at this point. Oh no, there's one other thing, but I'll show you this. So if you're familiar with Grandin Road, it's a very expensive online store, and then they also have like a I guess magazine that you can subscribe to or whatever that can come to your house or whatever, that shows you what they have for each season. But they had one of these 31s for like $60. I was like, I can make that. I love it, but I'm not paying that. So I got out in my husband's building, and is this right? Yeah, 31. It's backwards for me, so I don't know if it's backwards for you. So I drew the 3 and the 1, and I cut them out with his jigsaw, my husband's jigsaw. And then I hot glued a piece of string with this little hairy spider hanging. But it's an exact replica of the one online, but I think I made this for $6, which was the price of the wood. Actually, no, I'm sorry. The wood was free because my husband has tons of scraps out there. So I found the wood. The price of the $6 was the price of this pack of spiders on Amazon. So how fun is that? It's so fun. anyway, I love Halloween crafts. Love, love, love. There's one other thing I was going to show you. Is it on this one? So this is another Halloween daily album. Yes. So this that same summer that I stitched the Current Mood from the Cross Stitch magazine, I found another pattern here. I think it's called Angry Cat. Yeah. And so I used it, I stitched it, and this is another thing where I love like putting cross stitching with other crafts, like mixing and matching. So a lot of cross stitch will end up in an album, which it became my cover page that year. This is 2021's October daily. So yeah, it's stitched on, and I'm sorry, I didn't say anything about fabrics, I don't think, but most everything I do will be called for. If it's on linen, I'll most always swap it out and stitch on Aida or even weave, because I just, linen is just, it's just too much for me. I've tried to stitch on linen, and I don't know, it's just not enjoyable to me. I love the way it looks. It's just, I don't know, my eyes just can't handle that, I guess. It's just too hard. But yeah, so this looks like even weave. But anyway, I just added that little cat, and it became my cover page that year. So that's fun. Let's see. But yeah, I think that's everything that I wanted to show you. Just looking around here. Okay, what else? Before I get into my works in progress, my whips and my plans, I wanted to show you these little things, again, Halloween related. So I recently found the Historical Sampler Company's Instagram, and I saw something they posted a month or so ago about their advent calendar that they do. I guess they did one last year, and I didn't know anything about it, so I saw they were doing another one this year, and I was lucky enough to grab one. So I'm looking forward to that. Most of my we do advent calendar around here, so I usually have one that's Allie Edwards, which is all the memory keeping stuff. Like she does a sticker advent every year, which I love. And but this year I'm excited to also add to that a stitchy related one. So that's coming from the Historical Sampler Company. But while I was out there and I found the post about the advent calendar, I stumbled upon their page and found these floss drops. So if you don't know what floss drops are, for those of you that are coming over from Instagram and don't know anything about cross stitch, so I don't have any to show you here, but the DMC, mostly DMC, will come in like just the floss, you know, that's just rolled up in like floss. And so stitchers will take that floss and like undo it and then refold it and cut it in such a way that they can add it to what you call floss drops. And that just helps them keep like their floss organized for the various projects that they have, because most people out there have more than one project going at a time. And so anyway, I found these, and I'm a sucker for anything Halloween, but I'll show you these up close. So these are floss drops. You hang your floss from them when you're working on a project. These are purple bats. See that purple? I don't know. How fun are those? So fun. I love it. But these are from the Historical Sampler Company. I bought several packs just so I could have a lot of them, you know, for various projects that I'm working on. These spiders. So fun. But you hang your floss from the big hole, and then like when you have like a working strand that you have some left from when you're stitching, and if you have to switch colors, then you can put that working strand like in this little hole, the other little hole. So there's two holes. So fun. And then these pumpkins for like fall stitching. So yeah, they're just made out of just little pieces of wood, I guess. I'm not really sure, but I loved them, so I had to have them. So I got those. That's kind of like my little haul. And now I'll go into whips. So I'll put this away. Before I do that, I will show you just kind of how I store my patterns. I don't know how a lot of you store your stuff, but I like to keep my stuff in just this binder. It's just a huge binder. And I keep all of my patterns in here. And I have them sorted by season. And then the ones I'm working on, I'll pull out of here and either make a working copy and put it back, or I'll just use the actual pattern. But yeah, so this is how I stay organized. And I've told myself if I have to like stitch more of these before I can buy any more, even though I don't always follow that. There's just so much cute stuff out there. I don't know. I won't even go there. So the first one I'll show you, the first whip, work in progress that I'll show you is Lizzy Kate. And I'm stitching all of them. It's Lizzy Kate's Halloween Rules. And when it's finished, it'll look like this. But I'm stitching all of mine individually. And I have plans for it that I'll tell you about in just a second. So I'm stitching this. As we're going into whips and plans, I'll tell you the fabrics and floss and things because I have that because it's more recent. Again, apologies that I didn't have it on those other things that were older. So this is stitched on 14 count vintage country mocha Ada. And I am on this one, which is Mind Your Mummy. So this is where I'm at. Let me get my board so you can see. And these are pretty quick stitches also, but I have finished all of them up to that point. So I'll show you each of the ones that I've finished. So this is the first one. It's called Wear My Costume, or Wear a Costume, sorry. And they each have little buttons that go with them. It's so cute. But yeah, I decided to stitch these separate as individual pieces because I'd like to try to figure out a way to make a banner, like a Halloween banner to go on the mantle or like across my hutch or something. This one is Eat Candy. So cute. This one is Visit a Haunted House. Everything that I'm showing you is stitched on DMC, the called for DMC, on that 14 count Ada. This one is Scare a Crow. So cute. Carve a Pumpkin. And I recently finished this one, Stay Up Late. So yeah, I'm on Mind Your Mummy, like I said before. They're so cute. And I have 5 left. I have five left to go. So hopefully I can finish that soon and figure out how to make a banner with those. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do yet, but I will let you know when I do. Okay, so there's that one. This one is a big one. I'll probably be stitching it forever. I don't know the color or type of fabric that I'm using, but I know it's an Ada. I think it's a 14 count Ada. But this is Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. I'm sure all of you stitchers out there know this one by heart. It's so good and it's so big. But I started this one on New Year's Eve. This was like when everybody was doing 12 for 12s, which is like every hour they would have a new start, and they would start something new every hour and do have 12 new starts by the end of the day or night or whatever that was. I didn't do that. I decided to just start a big one. So I stitched this. I think I got all of I started in this, I'm a center starter. So I started in the center and I started with the cauldron and I did all the smoke, I think that night. And then all of January and part of February, I stitched the rest. And then I squirreled off onto Valentine's stitching, which I'll show you in season. But I made a couple of pillows for the first time using my sewing machine for the first time, and that was fun. And then I made a Valentine. I hand stitched a Valentine for my husband. But again, I'll show all that to you at another time. I wanted to kind of stay focused here on one subject. But yeah, that one's fun, and I'm excited to get back to it soon. So that's it on my. Oh no, I have one more work in progress. So this is the Coraline figure by Abby Sue Designs. Sorry, it's in black and white. Our color printer, the color ran out. But it's Coraline, if you're familiar with that movie. So after I stitched Beetle Juice, I was like, that was really fun. So I went out and found another one that I loved and started stitching it. This is how far I've gotten. So I almost finished the top part of the pattern on her coat. It's got two different yellows. I'm using all DMC. This is some kind of Ada. Sorry, it's like a mystery fabric. I'm not sure what the color is. So sorry. I'll get better at that, I promise. But I stitched the part of her bag and her hands, and then I started working on her hair. And I have an idea for this one when I finish. I would like, the pattern does not call for buttons, but I feel like she needs buttons for eyes. So I think I'm gonna find some black buttons and add them for her eyes, and then probably just frame it and display it with the Beetle Juice. So that's a fun one. And then two more things to show. These are my plans that I have, upcoming stitchy plans that I have for this fall. This one is, what's it called? Autumn Town, Autumn Lane Stitchery. So I actually started this one on this green fabric that I showed earlier. And then that's the one I was saying that I think this is a 16 or I think it's an 18 count actually. It was just, this is a lot of stitching. So this kind of like the Moon Dance one that I showed you from Teresa Kogut, where the background in this one is actually the green fabric. So that's how much stitching you're doing. That's like almost full coverage, which is insane. And it's gonna take a long time, but I absolutely love it. I love the colors. And so yeah, I had picked this green fabric up, and I just couldn't do it. It was just too small with the full coverage. So I actually went and found the Apple Harvest Lugana in 28 count. That's the called for this. I think it actually calls for linen, but I found a Lugana substitute, and I found that from Bush Mountain Stitchery, and it's on its way. It should be here in in a couple of days actually. So I'm excited to get started on this one, and it will probably take as long as Hawk Run Hollow, but that's okay. The last one that I'll show you, so this is my favorite cross stitch chart ever. And I have started this thing, I think because it is my favorite, I have put so much pressure on myself to make it perfect because I am a perfectionist as a fault, I guess, that I've restitched it like 3 times, restarted it 3 times. And I have gotten so far even, and I have started over. So I have more fabric coming for this again, and I'm gonna restart it. This time I'm not restarting it again. But these are the Judith Kirby Halloween houses. So it's 2 different patterns, and these are obviously out of print now. They're so old. But I found mine on eBay a few years ago, and they've just been sitting in my stash. But this one is house number 15 with the trick-or-treaters. I am such a sucker for trick-or-treater, anything related to trick-or-treating, I love it. And this is house number 9. But what's so fun about this is you can stitch them together on one piece of fabric, and it makes a little scene. And that's what I'm gonna do. And so I have actually had this entire house finished almost twice, and I have decided to restitch it. Why am I like that? I don't know. I love this pattern so much, and I just want it to be perfect. So the fabric that I ordered is a misty gray 28 count Monaco from Gary Baldus. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Needlework on Etsy. And it kind of looks like the stormy skies for the scene. But yeah, I'm gonna start it again, and I'm not starting over. You guys can hold me accountable. So that's it. That's all I have today to share. Hopefully you enjoyed this. If you like it, please give me a like and comment and tell me what you liked, tell me what you didn't like. I'm learning through this whole thing. But I really am looking forward to being a bigger part of this community and getting to know you, getting to know more people. Yeah, that's it. So I'll talk to you later. Thank you for watching. Bye.